Welcome to NBA Today with Malika Andrews, live from Los Angeles.
Mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. To try to play at a high level is very taxing.
Who else but the king? The legend of LeBron continues to grow.
How taxing is very taxing. It's a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and a lot of long hours.
Work hard till I die to the top, take it with me. No heights in my greatness. Now I'm free from the limits, I can fly like a weightless.
If you love the game and you love the process and you love being great, then you don't mind taking the tax that comes with it.
22, LeBron James is set to become just the second player in NBA history to hit that number. Of course, Vince Carter did it in 2020. He's going into the Hall of Fame just a month from today. But with all due respect, the expectations for LeBron, they're unlike anyone we've ever seen at this age. Remember, LeBron agreed to a 2-year, $104 million extension this offseason. But this roster, it didn't change very much from last year, right? Look at this. The biggest additions are their draft picks. You got Dalton Knecht, of course, Bronny James, and then head coach J.J. Redick. So let's look toward this season together, shall we? The Lakers, they won 47 games last year. ESPN Bet sees the team taking a little bit of a dip here. Their win total is set at 43.5. It's hard to see them making the playoffs, right, if that's where they land. So here's LeBron James and what he said this summer about his expectations for the season.
You still want to win. Can you do it here with the Lakers between now and the end of your career? Can it happen again?
Of course. Of course.
What gives you that confidence?
Because we've done it before. We still have two guys who commit every single day, and myself and AD, we commit to excellence and commit to winning. We're not that far off. You know, we were 1 year removed from the Western Conference Finals. This past year didn't go as well as we would like, but we're not that far off. And there's so many teams in the league, you know, so many great teams in the league, in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference, but we don't see that we are that far off anyways.
And with that, welcome to NBA Today. I'm Malika Andrews here with Chiney Ogwumike, the voice that you just heard in that interview. Dave McMenamin beaming in. We have Zach Lowe. Kendrick Perkins is going to be with us in just a minute. But LeBron, listening to that sound, he seemed pretty confident, Dave, that the window for the Lakers is still open here. Why does he have that confidence?
Well, let's think about it. They were 23-10 over the final 33 games of last season.
Yep.
It's pretty good. 70% winning percentage. That's would have extrapolated over the course of the season. They'd be a top-tier team, not just in the Western Conference, the entire NBA. You have some continuity with this roster. You hope for some health. 4 of their major role players in Cam Reddish and Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt, they missed 190 games combined last year. And then you think that you have a smart, bright head coach who can do more with this roster than Darvin Ham did.
Yeah, I do think that they are going to get a boost from their supporting cast. But to me, the reality check is just their weakness. It's the three-point shooting. That is where they have struggled. Anytime you think about LeBron James, a championship squad, he has had great talent to tag team with, whether it's another star or two. But then also he's been surrounded by shooters. If you look at the numbers, they were 24th in 3 points made over the course of the season. Out of 16 playoff teams, there were 15. They have to get some shooting. Now, I do think some of that supporting cast will help a little bit. I wish JJ could suit up because he could help a lot when it comes to three-point shooting. But if they're able to shoot the ball better, they can increase to what you said, like build off of that 70% winning percentage. Because a lot of us said at the end of the season, hey, they could have gone further. They just ran into the wrong team, which was the Denver Nuggets.
Well, and even in some of those games, in most of those games, the Lakers led most of the way.
You're right.
And we were just like, why is it, how is it that they keep letting these enormous leads in some cases slip through their fingers? So, Zach, when you're looking at this team, do you believe that they can compete with that sort of top tier in the Western Conference?
The Lakers are the only team that I know of that we keep giving these trophies for almost winning games. Oh, they led some games against the Nuggets in the playoffs. All right, it was a competitive sweep. Let's keep talking about it. It's a competitive sweep. Chiney just said the Lakers need shooting around LeBron James or they might struggle to make the playoffs. What year is this? Is this a replay from last year? We've been saying the exact same stuff for 2, 3, 4 years, which is to say, the Lakers are a good team. They're a tough team. They're nasty. They're smart. They take after LeBron James in that regard, maybe the greatest player of all time. As we saw against Denver, in any individual playoff series, they will always have a chance to win because they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis and a tough team and a tough defense. But winning one playoff series, which, by the way, they didn't do, is much different than winning 2 and winning 3, which is the bar for contending, which is what LeBron is talking about when he's talking about winning. And I said it all last year. Lakers are a good team. That's no easy thing to do in the Western Conference. They could win a playoff series if they make the playoffs. Beyond that, it's just hard to see this team. Every game, every win is so hard for them because of the shooting issues that Shanae is talking about. And the last thing is, their starting 5, I think, is a pretty damn good NBA lineup. And yeah, maybe Gabe Vincent's healthy this year. Vanderbilt could be healthy this year. After their top 6 or 7 guys, it's a lot of rookies, a lot of unproven guys, and a lot of guys that are really, you don't really necessarily want in the rotation. If they take an injury this year, their depth makes me a little bit nervous. So I think they're right where they were last year, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they're not a contender.
Okay, well, Zach, since you're clearly improving your wardrobe, you're upgrading your wardrobe. Let me see Zach again. Is that corduroy that we got going on there? He's got a corduroy jacket.
Look. This is my favorite Zach Lowe look ever.
Yeah, I mean, this is fly, Zach.
It's the undershirt.
This is looking good.
Are you finished? Are you done? Are you done now?
Can you give us the background story on this fit?
It was picked out for me, and my wife hates it, or she hates this shirt. This shirt is called the ugly shirt in our house, and I'm banned from wearing it by both my wife and my daughter. But guess what? They don't supervise me when I'm on television, so I'm going crazy. It's Friday.
You know what? Since Zach's going nuts over here. Dave, I'm gonna ask you.
Zach, I'm planning a trip to London, and I lost my map for the London Underground, the tube. So can I just borrow your shirt so I know which
it's a
train to get on?
This is news to me. All right, Kendrick Perkins is ready to join us here on NBA Today. Let's move off of Zach's shirt, if we could, and back to the Los Angeles Lakers here, Perk. We were talking about whether or not we think they're true contenders this season, because Zach is dressing like they are. What do you think?
I mean, they're not, but they're not that far off. I feel like they still need to make a move, right? I think perimeter defense, while I know perimeter defense is so valuable, not just in the Western Conference, but around the league. If you look at all the great teams, the teams that are considered title contending teams, we could start off with the defending champs in the Boston Celtics. We know how loaded they are for their perimeter defense. We saw the New York Knicks upgrade and get a guy like Mikal Bridges on their perimeter, along with a guy like Josh Hart. Both could defend at a high level. And then when you look across the board, you go to the tough Western Conference, you need perimeter defense, right? You can look back at that playoff series last season. Anthony Davis pretty much held his own against Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray was the X factor because no one could slow him down, right? So when you think about the shooting, I get it. That's one side of the basketball. But in order for them to make those steps, defense still win championships. I know offense is valuable, but defense still win championships. And we saw that with Derek White and Drew Holiday bought in this last championship against the Dallas Mavericks.
So as we talk about what we see in the Los Angeles Lakers, former Laker Hall of Famer Shaq, he weighed in on the Lakers season. Take a listen to his concerns.
They're going to have a rough start. And what I mean by that, as a coach, it's all about respect. And, if I'm a guy that's played 7, 8 years and I'm getting a young coach who I think I was a better player than, it's going to be a level of, disrespect there. My thought process is, will the antennas of the players be up when J.J. Redick talks? We don't know, but we shall see.
Janae, do you share those concerns with Shaq?
I don't think so. When you have buy-in from your best players in believing that this is the right coach, this is the coach that can do the most for you, I think the rest trickles down. I've had that in my personal experience. Sometimes you have coaches that you don't jive with. If the best player is not listening, then the rest of the team feels like it gives them autonomy not to do so as well. We have seen that JJ and LeBron have a relationship that preceded this entire situation, and I do think that this is considered a win-win for everyone involved. Having a coach that has the blessing of your star player, it can only help.
He's also spent a ton of the time this offseason already in El Segundo in the Lakers practice facility with their younger role players. And so I think that sweat equity will translate to having a bit of a running start with the rest of the roster, not just his podcast co-host in LeBron James.
Zach, where do you fall on this?
Look, even if there is a disagreement between coach and superstar, there's no disagreement so big that an $800 bottle of Malbec can't fix it. They'll be fine. JJ will be fine. If the Lakers get off to a slow start, I don't think it will be because of the coach. I think it will be because the Western Conference is just loaded top almost to bottom, and every game is going to be a slugfest.
Well, and when you look at the Lakers last season, they largely had good health, at least at the top of the roster, right? When you look up and down the roster, that's where they started to struggle a little bit. But when you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis largely available, that's where I start to have a couple of concerns. Can they still be that available, Perk?
I believe they can. And look, Anthony Davis is in the middle of his prime, right? Like, he's a guy that had the best year of his career last season. I feel like under JJ, they're on the same page. He's going to even get better. But look, here's the thing. Do I have concerns about the Lakers getting off to a slow start? Hell no. The reason being is we know from working with JJ how competitive he is. Hell, he was competitive on TV. What makes you think he's not going to go out there and put in the hard work to be competitive on the sideline? We know that LeBron James, he still wants to show the world that he's still one of the best players in the league. Austin Reeves, he continued to get better every year. So the Lakers are walking into this season with a chip on their shoulder. And when it comes down to the respect part of it for us young coaches, it's not that many Hall of Fame coaches we see walking up and down the sideline that were players, right? Maybe Jay Kidd is one of them, one out of the many that's coaching right now. So I think the respect is going to be earned by the amount of hard work that JJ Redick puts in on a day-to-day basis, watching film, being in the film room, paying close attention to detail, and I think they're going to be fine.